Let's get it cracking. We're back. We're live. We're after UFC 244 this past weekend. I'm going to look at my phone just to make sure everybody can hear me. Da-da-da. Da-da-da. I'm going to make sure this got sound here. Yeah, it got sound. Good shit. UFC 244 this weekend. I said it to a lot of different people, but, I didn't mean it. I'm just trolling. I'm just fucking around with people. But I said that Nate Diaz won all 3 rounds. Because I'm a Diaz fan, man. I don't like that he lost. So he got beat up like that. It's just not cool. And it just goes to show how fucking badass Jorge Masvidal really is, Nate got bodied, bro. Greg's been gone for so long. Nate Diaz loses a fight. This dude comes back. Like, he's got to talk shit about Diaz because he knows Diaz is my favorite fighter. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. He got bodied. You didn't know what you thought was going to happen against fucking Pettis, bro. And Pettis got the shit kicked out of him. Took it easy on him, dude. He fucking cracked him with that head kick, man. You can take it easy on that guy, bro. He was trying to finish him the whole time. Nate Diaz is just that badass. He couldn't get finished. You can't finish Nate Diaz. It's not going to happen. He's a brick wall. He gets knocked out when he gets hit clean, and even then, he doesn't get knocked out. He gets stunned, and if you give him time to recover, he's going to recover. He's just that. He's got that much will. He's not like Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor gets hurt, he lays down. He lets the fight finish. He gets hurt, he gets tired, he shoots for a takedown, lets himself get submitted. He quits the fight. Nate Diaz would never, ever, 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 ever quit a fight. He would never quit. He got hit with that mean-ass elbow in the clinch and then dropped down. You think The Rock would fuck up Nate one-on-one? No way. Nah, if The Rock got off, I got to hide it because you said fuck, but if The Rock got off the juice, he'd probably be like 185 pounds still. So, I guess, fuck the weight, but Nate would fuck him up. He don't got enough experience, man. That's just like saying like the bodybuilder that has zero jiu-jitsu experience can't go into jiu-jitsu school and get schooled by a 125-pound guy. He'll get schooled. The strength matters a little bit, but that guy gets you in a fucking rear naked choke. You're in a rear naked choke. You know what I mean? Don't matter how strong you are. It puts you in a heel hook, you're in a fucking heel hook. It doesn't matter, dude. It's one of those things where if you know what you're doing, the other guy doesn't know what he's doing. Doesn't matter how big, how fast, none of that shit matters, man. You will be the victor if you know what you're doing. In the background here, I'm going to be watching the Chargers-Raiders game. The Chargers are off to like the shittiest start I've ever seen the Chargers start off to. Ever 2 interceptions on the first 2 drives, losing 10-0. No good. But yeah, I don't like all the Nate Diaz hate, man. It's unwarranted. He's one of the best motherfuckers to ever come into the MMA game. And then motherfuckers want to hate on Greg Hardy because he hits women. And they want to hate on Kobe because his fucking shtick is fucking retarded. And then people want to hate on Nate Diaz because he's like the baddest motherfucker in MMA. I don't get it. I just don't. Everybody just wants to hate on everybody, no matter what, no matter if they're cool. Sooner or later, Jorge Masvidal loses. Motherfuckers gonna be hating on Jorge Masvidal. They're gonna say, "Oh, this and that." They're just gonna be talking shit for no fucking reason. I think Masvidal's a badass. I like Masvidal. When coming into this fight, I picked Diaz because that is my pound for pound favorite fighter right now. But Masvidal, it was so close for me that I didn't want to pick. I wanted it to just be mutual there. Rock would smash me with 1 round. If he's on juice, yeah. If you're fighting in the UFC, you can't be on juice, bro. It's simple. You're not on juice. Number one, let's just say we're in a perfect world and he is on juice now and he needs to get off the juice to fight Nate. That means that his body's going to be fucking overwhelmed with estrogen, which means that he is going to turn into like a frail little fat pouch of fucking nothing. And he has no fighting experience, man. He get the shit kicked out of him by Nate. Bad. Like fucking really, 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 really fucking bad. He'd get the shit kicked out of him by Nate. In an ideal world where I know he's on juice and he would have to get off juice to fight Nate. If you're saying they meet up in a fucking bar and they fight and he's still on juice. Nah, dude, you got to think when you're on that type of shit. And this is where I say that. I say that because if you go into the UFC. Because if you go into the UFC and you're on juice and you need to get off juice, you can't take the estrogen blockers, shit like that, because you'll pop for that too. You'll get suspended for that too. So you can't. If you're on steroids and you want to fight in the UFC, you have to just stop. And if you just stop, all your muscle turns into fat. You have a fucking shitload of estrogen in your body, a small ass amount of testosterone. So you have no drive to go work out, get your body back to where it's supposed to be. It's a fucking shit show if you just cold turkey stop doing steroids and you don't do estrogen blockers and shit like that. It's a shit show. So if you're saying that happens, he gets the shit kicked out of him 15 times out of 10. But now if you're saying he's off steroids and he does estrogen blockers and then he gets fit again and then he's like 200 and something pounds and he did it the right way and then he jumps into the UFC, maybe a little bit harder of a fight to say for Nate because he still doesn't have any experience. The Rock. He doesn't have any experience still. So it's still one of those no experience versus a shit ton of experience things. But he's really athletic still. He's not in a shit shape and he's a lot bigger. He's still, I think even if he got off the juice, he would still be like 200, 210, somewhere in there because he's like 6'4". So I think he would still be a bigger guy. Nate Diaz can't get that big unless he doesn't cut weight. But if he doesn't cut weight, that's why people cut weight is to fight. You know, it's tough, man. There's a lot of variables that would go into that, you know. If they fought this weekend in a bar parking lot, who wins? The Rock. Without a question. The Rock. But then again, you know, what kind of fight is it going to be? Is it going to be one of those stupid-ass bar fights that's like they punch for like 3 seconds and it's over? Or is it going to be like, you know, like everybody builds a fucking circle around the guy and they're fighting for like 5 minutes? Because if that's the case, Rock smokes him. If it's like a quick thing, I would think at this point Nate would be a lot quicker, being a lot smaller. So maybe he gets like 17 shots in, the Rock gets like 2 hard ones and rocks him. Nate won. I don't know what the fuck. What do you want me to say? Nate fucking won the fight. In a street fight, all right, check this out. In a street fight, 2 random people. Not Nate Diaz, not the Rock. 2 random people. You see one guy punch this other dude mad hard. The guy like stumbles back. One time, punch him mad hard. Stumbles back, regains his consciousness, comes back, hits him like 22 times. Never hurts the guy, but hits him like 22 times clean. Who won the fight? You know what I mean? Doesn't matter that he got hurt. That shit don't matter in a street fight. All we've seen 45 seconds of action, and 40 seconds was one guy hitting the other guy. 5 seconds was that one punch. You know, 40 seconds beat 5 seconds. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, The Rock, if The Rock don't got to get off steroids, he put those big meaty ass fucking, if he knows how to accurately throw a punch, fuck training. If you ever got into a fight, you know how to accurately throw a punch to somewhat put any power on it, then yeah, bro, he's on juice. He's probably like 260 pounds. He's on juice, you know? That shit will put you in a box, you know what I mean? His punches mean fucking... It's hard to say. The Rock would definitely never fight Masvidal ever, being from the same place. I could see why you asked me about Diaz. The Rock, Diaz talking a lot of shit about The Rock. But The Rock's a nice guy. He would never do shit like that, so it's kind of far-fetched either way. To be completely honest. I like the hypotheticals. I like to dive into the hypotheticals. But then when I'm like 5 minutes into diving in and I'm sitting here like, why the fuck? You know, then I'm just like, yeah, it's silly. It would never happen. You know what I mean? But definitely would never fight Masvidal. 115% would never fight. I think the questions we should be asking is, would he beat like Francis Ngannou or like Stipe Miocic and shit like that? And again, that goes back to if he's off the juice, fuck no. But if he's on the juice, those are a lot harder fights for him, Francis Ngannou and Stipe Miocic, because even though he's on the juice, you know, those heavyweights, they feel that power every fight with people that are not on juice. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's not as much power, but it's fucking around the same power. The motherfucker's almost as big as that dude. You know what I mean? So it's not that big of a difference in not dealing with a crazy amount of power difference getting hit with. The Rock give Jones a good one? Oh, man, no. Even on the juice now. And if you tell John he could juice too, with The Rock, Rock's fucked. it goes back to, it's when you get closer and closer to people being the same size, then it comes to, John Jones having 12 years of pro MMA experience, 10 years pro MMA experience, and being almost the same size, a little bit smaller. They're like the same height-wise, a little bit skinnier. You know what I mean? 12 years of experience versus 0, never even fought an amateur fight. And Jones has got, what, like 20-something pro fights? You know what I mean? It's not even close, dude. It's not even close. It's like, what's an example? It's like some guy in your local town that wants to be an MMA fighter, and they're an amateur, and they're 1-0 as an amateur. It's like them fighting Jorge Masvidal. You know what I mean? It's just not. Give that guy all the juice he fucking wants. If he's the same size as Masvidal, let's get the shit kicked out of him. He doesn't know. He hasn't got the knowledge. If you're an amateur fighter, you obviously go to some kind of MMA class, kickboxing class, whatever. I'm not going to try to be a fighter, but I want you to get an amateur fight in. So I know you go to your classes, you go to the gym, you try to learn as much as you can, but you ain't gonna learn what Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal, John Jones knows about MMA in 1, 2, 3, 4 years. How long are we talking? The Rock is gonna wait to fight these guys, and then on top of that, then the Rock's getting older. He's already probably like 40 something. It's just, it's working against them. Kobe George should be next. Fuck Usman. Yeah, I mean, I don't like Usman either, but Usman's a champ. He's got to fight the champ. They don't nobody want to fight Masvidal when they have a chance to fight the champ. And then if Kobe somehow wins, then now they got that huge fight. Kobe Covington, Jorge Masvidal, Jim beef, and it's for the belt. It's a 5-round fight, so we get to see cardio involved. I like it. Speaking of cardio, we have a UFC Moscow going on this weekend. I don't know if you know that, Greg, if you're keeping up with the times. But UFC Moscow this weekend. A lot of drama there. The main event was supposed to be Junior Dos Santos, Alexander Volkov. And when Junior Dos Santos had to back out for an injury, Greg Hardy decided to take the step and jump in to fight Volkov. But being as though I guess it's Greg Hardy Volkov, they wanted to move that to the co-main and move Zabit versus Calvin Kattar, which was supposed to happen at UFC Boston in October, to the main event. But for some reason, I guess 2 weeks out, they were scared to make a 3-round fight turn into a 5-round fight, and they are making a 3-round main event. Very weird to me, extremely weird. Kattar's camp is saying that Zabit requested that they didn't change it from 3 rounds to 5 rounds. I get it. You train however many months for a 3-round fight. You drill 3 rounds, and then they're like 5 rounds. So like you never know what's going to happen those last 2 rounds. But at the same time, if you have months to train, should be ready for however many fucking rounds they want to throw you in there for. 10 rounds should be ready because you've been training. You know what I mean? You should be training. You shouldn't just be training 3 rounds a day, 15 minutes a day. You know what I mean? You should be training a good bit. Oh man, way short charges are. Even me, when I like do work on the heavy bag and shit, I'll just do like kickboxing on the heavy bag. You'll slap me. Get the fuck out of here. You will not slap Abraham Lincoln. Even when I do like work on the heavy bag, I'll do like 8 rounds or so, like a 3-round and a 5-round. And I don't go. I know for a fact there's people that outwork me, do a lot more than what I do. But that's just me. Like when I do shit on the heavy bags, about 8, 10 rounds, maybe 2 5-round fights or a 3-round and a 5-round. So you would have to think pro guys do way more than that a day. So why would you be so scared of a fucking 5-round? I don't get it, but it is what it is. That's the way the cookie crumbled on that one. But I'm gonna murder some of these guys' names, dude. I couldn't pronounce some of these guys to save my life. But we're gonna go for it. We're gonna say it. We're gonna call them nicknames after them. Say the name one time. This guy versus this guy, and then I'm gonna give them nicknames. And then the rest of the time I'm talking about these motherfuckers, we're gonna call them by their nickname because these are some fucking hard names. To start the main card, we got Shamil Gazmatov versus Glitson Abru. Gazmatov is, or we're going to call him Shamil by his first name because it's a little easier, Shamil. He's 13-0 with 10 of his wins coming by finish. 5 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's making his UFC debut. He previously fought in the PFL, which is notable. His most notable win is against Eddie Gordon. And he didn't lose a fight in the PFL, although they were all decisions, so I would assume he just didn't go to the playoffs because he didn't have enough points. Abu Gleason is about 15-3, 1-1 in the UFC. Won his most recent fight over Sam Alvey. I guess that'd be his most high-profile fight by decision. This was back in July. He's got wins over Alvey. Oh, never mind. He's got wins over Sam Alvey, Viktor Nemkov, and Johnny Walker way back in the day. This was like 2013, 2012 or so. But this guy has a win over Johnny Walker, who was unbeatable up until he just fought Corey Anderson this past weekend, which was an amazing fight. Crazy to see grappling dominant Corey Anderson knock out crazy unorthodox striker and Johnny Walker. It was amazing. But yeah, this guy's got a win over Johnny Walker. He's never been submitted. 10 out of 15 of his wins are by submission, 10 out of 15 of his wins are by submission. He's got 4 by knockout, so he's only been to a decision once. Walker through the fight. You got the worst takes ever, Greg. I love you, man. You're a cool guy, dude. But you got some weird ass takes. So you think that dude got his shit rung like 4 times, and he meant to do that? You think he meant to get embarrassed on the biggest stage of combat sports in Madison Square Garden? You think he meant to get embarrassed in front of everybody? And if I were, he talks so much shit about that he's gonna fucking walk through this guy and he's the next guy that's gonna beat Jones and yada yada, all this shit, and he's gonna go out there and get embarrassed in the first round, just like he's been doing to fighters? No, man, I don't think so, bro. I don't think he threw that fight. I think that's a big stretch, big stretch. For that fight, I'm gonna go with Abreu. I think he just fought a lot more talent. You know, submission artist. This other guy is obviously not the most talented grappler, but he can get the job done on the floor. I gotta go Gleason, how do we say his name? I'm going to go with him. I'm going to call it submission, maybe second round. I think the first round they're going to do a lot of feeling each other out. Second round comes, I think he's going to, or at the end of the first round, I think he's going to take him down. And he's going to see it's a little easier to take the guy down. So he's going to go for it again and again in the second round pretty early. And he's going to start working that submission offense early in the second round. All right, here we go. Here's another one. Ramazan Emeev versus Anthony Martin. Got you on that one, Anthony Martin. Ramazan is 18-3, 3-0 in the UFC. His most notable win is over Sam Alvey again back in 2017. He hasn't fought since September of 2018, so it's been a little while for him. And he has 7 submission wins out of his 18 wins. So he's a ground guy. He's pretty decent on the ground. Anthony Rocco Martin, 16-5 with 9 of his wins by submission. Also very good on the ground. He's got wins. His wins include Sergio Moraes, Jake Matthews, Ryan LaFleur, Thomas Gifford, and then his most recent fight was a loss to Damian Maia by decision. So he didn't get submitted by Damian Maia. That's how good he is on the ground. That was back in June. The biggest, two biggest things, I think, definitely Anthony Martin's way better on the ground than Ramazan Emeev. I don't know how anybody could see it any different. But Emeev used to be a middleweight. He fought at middleweight, and I think his last fight was his debut at welterweight. And Anthony Martin's definitely just like a natural welterweight. So I think size is going to be a little bit of a factor there. But I do think that Anthony Martin will be able to somehow get the fight to the ground and be able to submit Ramazan Emeev. They're pretty good last week, guys, so I kind of want to keep it on a a good roll here. I went 8-4 last week, even though Nate lost. So I want to keep it rolling here. Oh shit! I'm gonna murder this one. Haris Abragamov versus Ed Herman. Haris is 8-1, 0-1 in the UFC. He's got one loss. His one loss is a submission loss to Dan Unjung back in August, and he has 5 out of 8 of his wins are via his finish. Relatively new to the sport, as far as being a pro that is. Ed Herman, on the other hand, not so much. He's a 38-fight veteran, 24-14, 13 out of his 24 wins are via submission. His last fight was a TKO win over Patrick Cummings. That was in May. He's also got wins over Tim Bosch, Rafael Natal, Kyle Noke, and or Noki, however you say his name, and Glover Teixeira back before UFC, pre-UFC days. Throw it to fucking Mike Williams, man. Experience. I think experience after a certain while just kind of dissipates, when it comes to these rising prospects. You see guys like Johnny Walker, and then who felt the Johnny Walker knockout right before Teixeira? I mean, not Teixeira. What's his name? Johnny Walker knocked out. Fuck, now I'm going to make myself look it up. Because I can't go with my brain being stumbled right there. It's hard to find because he's got the same name as the liquor shit, Johnny Walker. Black label motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Throw the ball to Mike Williams, dude. Oh, dude, this dude got picked off 3 times in the fucking first half. Misha Serkinov. So I mean, he's got 21 pro fights. He's been a pro since Johnny Walker's been a pro since 2013. So I mean, 6 years. But Misha Serkinov, if I'm not mistaken, has been a pro since 2010, 3 years longer. So I mean, maybe not that much of a difference there. It's not really as big as Johnny Walker. Maybe that was a poor example that I was going to give there, but it all ends someday. The veteran versus the up and comer, always it's a good base. It's a good base. It's a good base, and then eventually it just kind of goes away, and then the up and comer just gets their chance. Adesanya. Adesanya Silva. Definitely, Silva was way out of his prime, and so is Ed Herman. And what are we gonna say? Ed Herman's not out of his prime right now. I'm not trying to call Haris anything like Adesanya. I'm just saying it's the same type of situation, fighter versus fighter wise, But I'm gonna go Haris Abragamov. Fuck, man. Touchdown Chargers, but it's not Mike Williams, who was on my fantasy team. I mean, Mike Williams start getting involved, man. I benched Devontae Parker for your motherfucking ass, man. Zalim Ahmedov versus Danny Roberts. I see a lot of people talking crap about Danny Roberts here, saying that Danny Roberts, his only chance to win this fight is getting it to the ground early. I agree and I don't, and I'll explain that. 16-5 for Roberts. 12 out of 16 of his wins are via finish, 7 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's never lost a decision. He's on a 2-fight losing streak right now in 2019, with a submission loss to Claudio Silva and then a knockout loss to Michel Pereira. He's 5-4 in the UFC, so he's kind of been middle of the road there. While Liam is 8-1, 0-1 in the UFC, lost the decision to Max Griffin in April, and he has a 100% knockout rate for his wins. So he's 8-1, he's got 8 knockouts and 1 loss by decision. The reason I'm skeptical to just count Danny Roberts out is because Zaliam's one loss was to Max Griffin, who is a counter striker. He's known to be a counter striker. Same style as Danny Roberts. Now, I take you back to Mike Perry, for example. Just in reference, Mike Perry fought both of these guys, Danny Roberts and Max Griffin, before. Both counter strikers. He knocked out Danny Roberts, and then he lost the decision to Max Griffin. So, MMA math doesn't work. Shit doesn't line up like that. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it and say, he's definitely going to win because Mike Perry is the same type of fighter, and he lost to Max Griffin the same way, and then now he's going to knock out Danny Roberts because Mike Perry did it too. I'm not going to say that, but I am going to say that I do believe that Zaliam will knock out Danny Roberts. It's going to be one of those situations where it's kind of like the I wouldn't really even necessarily say the veteran guy of Danny Roberts because he's not really a crazy veteran. He's only got 21 fights compared to Zaliam's 9. So what's that, like 11 more fights? 12 more fights. So, it's not the craziest differential we've seen in the UFC, but it's up there. Which brings us to the co-main. Alexander Volkov versus Greg Hardy. We all know the bullshit that's happened with Greg Hardy with the inhaler. He's beat. He was actually winning that fight, though. It's disappointing to see. He was winning the fight against Ben Sassoli. And I think I fucking beat myself up about it because it was so funny. But I fell asleep, so I didn't see the ending of the fight. But I heard that after he used an inhaler, they let him keep fighting, and he won the fight by a decision. So, like I said, he was winning the fight. He won the fight by decision. But he can't use an inhaler during a fight, man. So they gave him no contest. Dude's 5-1-1. His one loss is by DQ. So this guy's got 5 knockout wins, a loss by disqualification because he was getting beat up by Alan Crowder and decided to knee him in the face while he was on the ground. And then a no contest because he decided to use his fucking inhaler against Ben Sassoli. Ben Sassoli's making his UFC debut. So it's like, come on, what are we doing with this guy? And then, boom, you just throw him to the wolves with fucking Alexander Volkov, which he offered to do. So I'm all for it. You offer to take that fight, you take that fight. That's what it is. But, if I'm Greg Hardy, I would fuck that, man. Crazy as fuck. Like 2 weeks notice. One of the best strikers in the heavyweight division. You're just like, fuck it. Oh, they're fighting. They're fighting, dude. They were fighting. Volkov is 30-7, 37 fight veteran. They're going against a 7-fight veteran. Greg Hardy has as many fights as Volkov has losses, and he has 30 wins. So put that in perspective. 20 out of 30 of his wins are via knockout or TKO. He's 4-1 in the UFC. His only loss was October 2018. Where he won. It was his last fight. He hasn't fought since October 2018. He won 3 straight rounds. And at the very end of the 3rd round, he got knocked out by Derek Lewis. I think just kind of fatigue setting in, and fatigue setting in, and just kind of keeping your hands down. Derek Lewis is not the guy you want to keep your hands down against. So he got knocked out there. He would be 5-0 in the UFC if he would just fucking played it safe. But he didn't. He got knocked out by Derek Lewis. And that's when I was explaining why I think this is actually going to be a good fight. I explained it because, Greg Hardy's got that same kind of boxing, power punching style as Derek Lewis. And although Derek Lewis didn't look successful in that fight, and that was they went all the way to the end of that fight, and I don't think this fight's going to go all the way to the end. I do think that if Derek Lewis had that fighting chance with catching Volkov with his hands down, so does Hardy. I think it would be ridiculous to say he's got 0 chance. In an MMA fight, nobody has 0 chance at winning. That's number 1. Number 2 is we just seen his most recent fight, which it's been over a year since his most recent fight, but in his most recent fight, he got caught with his hands down and got knocked out. So, it's kind of like I could definitely see Volkov winning this fight. I could definitely see it. I'm picking him If I haven't made that clear yet, I'm picking Volkov by knockout, first round. But if Greg Hardy were to knock Volkov out, I would not be surprised one bit. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Everybody's like, oh, we should ride if he wins, this and that. I'm not going to be surprised. They gave him Volkov. Out of everybody that I wanted them to throw at him, I wanted them to throw Greg Hardy to Derek Lewis, to Junior Santos, to maybe even Tai Tuivasa. I mean, that's like if we're trying to still slow play him, Tai Tuivasa, and he probably would have beat Tai Tuivasa. But, Junior Santos, Derek Lewis, who else do I want to see him fight? I would love to see him fight Verdum if Verdum came back. That'd be fucking hilarious in my opinion. But yeah, not the case. Not the case at all. Volkov by knockout early. I think Greg Hardy's going to try to come out the same way he comes out in every fight, just guns blazing right off the bat. And that's, Volkov's the longer fighter. He's got just as much power as Hardy. Crazy knockout power. Like I said, 20 out of 30 of his wins via knockout. If Greg Hardy was smart, he would not do that. But I do see him doing that. And if he does, he's probably going to get knocked out. So, main event time. Zabit Magomed Sharipov versus Kelvin Kattar. Magomed Sharipov is, let's see, 5-0 in the UFC, 17-1 overall. His one loss was by armbar in 2013 to Igor Igorov. 13 out of 17 of Zabit's wins are via finish, 6 knockouts, 7 submissions. So we see, to the naked eye, you see his fight with Bosniak, you see his fight with, fuck is the other little dude's name? But we've seen a crazy amount of striking, unorthodox striking. Although he submitted Brandon Davis, even in that fight, he displayed a crazy amount of just unorthodox, intelligent, just elusive kind of fucking striking, just like this new kind of breed of, like Michel Pereira or Johnny Walker style fighting at featherweight, which is very, very exciting to see. But he's got more submissions than he does knockouts, so he doesn't necessarily finish fights with that all the time. But just like you see in the Brandon Davis fight, if you get your back, it's going to be trouble. And maybe not even because of a choke. Maybe he just puts you in one of those stupid ass fucking split moves and fucks your whole shit up, man. Very, very, very dangerous. Kelvin Kattar, I think, has the best boxing and featherweight right now. We just seen Shane Burgos get that very impressive win over Maracani or whatever his name is. Displayed beautiful boxing. Kelvin Kattar knocked out Shane Burgos in January of 2018, so a little over a year ago, or like a year and a half ago or so. Best boxing in featherweight by a long shot, I would think. Him versus Max Holloway, when it happens, is going to be a spectacular fight. 20-3, 12 out of 20 of his wins are via finish, 9 knockouts, 3 submissions, 4-1 in the UFC. He's on a 2-fight winning streak right now, which includes TKO over Ricardo Lamas and Chris Fishgold, and Shane Burgos. He's got a TKO over Ricardo Lamas and Shane Burgos. He had a decision with Chris Fishgold that he won. I'm not too sure how he finished Andre Fili. If he finished him or if I can't remember, but he beat Andre Fili as well. He's never been knocked out, and he's only been submitted once. So, like I said, Zabit's got very good submission game once they get down there. The question will be, is Zabit ever going to be able to successfully get Kattar to the floor, whether it's by trip? I don't see Zabit ever doing any orthodox, just shooting for a double leg or a single leg or anything like that. So I see him more likely going for clinches, trips, shit like that. And that being the case, I think Kara keeps it standing for the most part, and his boxing is just going to be so elusive that if this truly is a 3-round fight and there's no cardio question, there's no just any kind of there's only 3 rounds for him to stop a takedown. There's not 5 rounds for him to stop a takedown. There's just it works in Zabit's favor as far as if he wasn't training for a 5-round fight and he doesn't believe his cardio can stay for 5 rounds. But as far as having to stop the takedown or stop the fight from getting to the floor at all, it kind of favors Kevin Qatar because it's just less time for him to have to do that. And in my opinion, if they stand a trade and he gets the box with Zabit, he will outpoint Zabit by far. I don't know if he'll knock him out. I can't say that, but I do think he will outstrike Zabit. So it's my take on that. I got Kevin Qatar via decision. And people are going to call me silly. So, like, dude, if it goes decision, it's going to be Zabit, yada, yada, yada. I don't agree, man. I think I see something special in this Kevin Qatar guy. I think if it would have happened in Boston, my thought process would have been a little bit different. But, for some reason, they had the fight moved to Moscow. Russian guy, Dagestani guy, whatever the fuck he is. He's close to his hometown, close to fucking Boston, which is Kevin Qatar's hometown. I think Kevin Qatar comes in with a little bit more anger to him because he was going to have a hometown fight. This guy gets injured, and then now he's getting the hometown fight. So I think that's going to make Calvin a little bit angry, in my opinion. So I don't know. That one's a wing it. That one's kind of one of those wing it situations where you're just kind of winging that. It's a decent undercard. I fucking would murder some of these guys' names if I tried to pronounce them on the undercard. So I'm not just going to give some bigger names that a lot of people are going to be excited to hear about. Rastim Kabulov, maybe. Carl Robertson, Roosevelt Roberts, Jessica Rose Clark's going to be fighting Penny Kinazad. So it's a decent card. It's got a lot of decent names on it. Oh, my God, 3 interceptions in the first half for Philip Rivers, dude. This guy is trash. This guy is trash cans, my guy. 3 interceptions in the first half, dude. 3. Offsides, it's coming back. Offsides goes back to the Chargers. That's hilarious. But even though it doesn't count, dude just threw 3 interceptions in the first half, man. 2 of them, I don't think I got to see this one again. Maybe it was all 3, but the first 2 he just threw straight to the defender. It wasn't even like safety just read that shit. Safety read that shit hard. But yeah, man, I'm going to watch it. It's going to be during the day. I think it's starts at 11 for the prelims. Main card starts at 2 or some shit like that. So it's middle of the day, Saturday. It's going to be cool, man. I don't hate the middle of the day cards. I definitely do think fighting is a nighttime sport. It should be done during nighttime. But, for me, as far as viewing pleasure, it does make it a lot easier to stay awake. Just in case they have a boring fight, 3 fights from the main event, 4 fights from the main event, I won't fall asleep because it'll be fucking 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So there's always that exciting aspect of it. But I want to give a shout. I know I haven't been saying it on the videos. I don't know why I haven't been shouting it out on the videos, but I've been doing a series called The Cannabis Chronicles where I interview fighters and get their opinions on cannabis, smoking cannabis, CBD oil, shit like that. In the sport of MMA, fighters that do it, do they think it's performance enhancing? Do they do it themselves? Funny stories sometimes. I recently just asked Joe Scully if what he doesn't smoke or anything like that, or do cannabis, or he only did CBD one time for one camp. So he doesn't have really that much experience with it. But I asked him, I was like, you don't have to be a stoner to watch stoner movies. So what's your favorite stoner movie? And he told me that it was this. This Is the End, I think it's called. with Seth Rogen and James Franco, which I think it's a hilarious movie. I love that movie. I'm a stoner though, you know. But it's a good movie. I like, you know, and that's I asked him that question just on the fly, and I was like, you know what, that's a good question. I'm gonna start asking people that because you don't have to be a stoner to watch stoner movies. Fucking Pineapple Express, Friday, Super Bad. I would consider a stoner movie. You know, it's just like that style of movie. It doesn't necessarily have to be them, and it doesn't have to be Cheech and Chong. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I've been having fun with it. You guys go to MMAsucker.com, go into the search bar and search the Cannabis Chronicles, and all of them will come up. I've done one with Chuck Liddell, Houston Alexander, Joe Sicoli. I'll look them up right now so I could tell you. Maybe you hear somebody's name that you want to read about, and you can go read about it. But I will look it up for you right now. That's a train going by. What the fuck is that noise? Houston Alexander, Chuck Liddell, Juan Adams, UFC heavyweight Juan Adams, Scott Ferrazzo, who was way back from like UFC like 2, 3, and 7 and shit. He fought Tank Abbott way back in the day, and Chris Curtis, who was recently fighting for the PFL. He was in the welterweight tournament for the PFL. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're 6 fighters in. I think next week I've got my. I'm trying to get some seats out there. I think I might want to talk to Leo Kuntz, you know. All right. I know for a fact that he does use cannabis, and I haven't got many fighters. I guess maybe it's like one of those things where like they don't want to talk to a reporter and tell them they smoke cannabis, but I haven't got many that have actually admitted saying they do. So I haven't got the other side of it. I've got a bunch of people from this side saying, I don't, but I don't think it's cheating, or I don't think it's bad, or I don't think this, I don't think that. But I don't got any opinions from people that are like, I do it. These are the benefits, and this is how it is. You know what I mean? Because they do. I think Leo would be a good candidate for that. I believe he does. And I think I'm going to hit him up. Might be right after this. I might just hit him a text, send him a text, see if I can set something up. But hey, man, MMAsucker.com. Always look up. We got this video posted with a written out preview of the card, maybe a sleeper fight, just some bullshit like that, on PureEvilMMA.com. So Pure Evil MMA, MMA Sucker, and then Cage Side Press just hit me up today. I might be starting with them too. So I could be a 3-website man by the end of this week. You never know. I think if it was up to me, just to put out as much content as I can, I would do them. But it just really depends on what all they would want me to do. Because if they want me to do a crazy amount of shit for Cage Side, I just wouldn't do it. I would just stick with Sucker right now. But it's what it is, man. No covering fights coming up. Nothing going on. I'll be in Virginia for the New Year's Eve card for PFL for the finals. So we will not be in New York for that. What else is coming up? I think they scrapped Island Fight 61. Something happened. They took Impa Kazanagi and Andre Hall and put it on like Empire FC or something like that for like 2 weeks later. And they started booking Island Fight cards for December. So I don't know. Maybe they just canceled the whole card or some shit. I don't know. I have to ask some questions there. And I didn't do any kind of research into that. I just thought about that off the cuff and decided to say it. So, what's Saturday? Oh, Saturday. You know what? Keep your eyes out. I won't say yes or no right now. But I think my fiance will be wedding shopping, so I'm not too sure what's going to be. If we're just chilling home alone, fuck it, I might as well just record, But I might have my little girl and shit, so I might not. Definitely be back next Thursday. We'll be previewing Brazil, UFC Sao Paulo, Brazil. Tuesday, the 12th, is my birthday. So shout out to me for my birthday this weekend and next weekend, or my birthday weekends, technically, because my birthday falls on a stupid ass fucking Tuesday. Hey guys, holler at me Thursday. I'll see you guys next Thursday. Maybe this Saturday. Make sure you drop by and say happy birthday on Tuesday because you guys are nice people. I know it. I could tell it. Everybody that comes here, Greg talks a lot of shit about fucking Diaz and all this shit, but he's a nice guy. I know he is. I'll see you guys next Thursday. Holler at me.